All right, welcome to the Town of Fairfield Shellfish Commission meeting, September 13th, 2023. Present are Tim Macklin, Bruce Kiefner, Cindy Wakeman, John Short, Tim Bishop on the line. We have a quorum. I think I only need to, yeah. All right.
In session.
Approval of the draft meeting minutes of August 9th, 2023.
Make a motion. Oh, sorry.
Well, first we're going to say, is there any changes, corrections, or questions?
I didn't see anything.
No questions?
No, I just didn't, I don't know if it falls under this or next, but changing the downwellers to upwellers.
Yeah, it says it on the next page.
Yeah. It's still on here as downwellers.
So it is upwellers.
Change from where for, yeah, so bills and communications and the committee report.
Downwellers should come up and spell check is no good.
I know.
All right, so you got that?
That we're gonna change the agenda to upwellers.
Yeah.
Yeah, H on the committee report. That's it.
All right, Cindy, go for it.
But that's not part of the minutes, though, so I'll just put that in there. Yeah.
That goes to Joanne?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll call her.
But I'll put it in here, just
Yeah,
not
she
with the
does.
minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right, I'll let
Mhm.
Joanne.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of August 9th, 2023.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, who's that?
Who's that? Was that?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey,
Yep.
You were hiding in the corner, we didn't see you.
Was that and Hopper on the line? All right.
Aye.
Bills and... Aye.
Hey,
Oh, pizza.
Sean Cohen, present.
Pizza. With pizza.
With pizza.
You guys picked the wrong time to call in.
Something in the bag. Okay. Ready for the bills and communications? Clam relay and planting. So we did a clam planting, was that the Friday before Labor Day weekend? And spent $2,070 on 49 bags of clams. Sounds like a lot, but there were some, like 8 bags of quahogs, 37 bags of cherry stones, some top necks, and I think there was some neck in there, I'm not sure. But the clams became available, and it's funny because I was thinking about Labor Day weekend coming, I'm like, oh, maybe we should buy like 10 bags of clams, because we couldn't get a relay done, and just put them out there so that there's some clams. And after the hurricane in Florida, and all these stories about Vibrio, Rhode Island and Florida were both shut to imports of shellfish. So there were some clams available, and figured, why not fill up the bed, yeah. So they're a little further out, because it was a really low tide, and we didn't want them to just be sitting on a sandbar. So if you go out clamming, or anyone asks where there are clams, just say they're a little further out.
good for him.
I'll let it firm up. Thanks, Sean. So I still think we should probably do an actual relay, either early October, late October, or like the first week in November.
Okay.
But we spent basically $2,100 of the $2,500 we approved. So we'd have to approve another $2,100 to do a relay before the end of the season. And that would be 120 bushel of clams, which is usually 40 to 50,000 or something like that, 30 to 40,000. So, what do you guys think?
I think it's a great idea. I think that, you know, Sean may have some great ideas, but the water's warm, and there are a lot of clams out there, and especially when you translate bushels to numbers of clams. And when you tell people that it's 20,000 clams or 50,000 clams, they go,
They get excited.
that's a lot of clams. I mean, if you say 20 bushels, it's like, it's meaningless, but thousands means a lot. And the water's warm. I mean,
Yeah. So
nice.
we have
Jellyfish are here now.
basically, we have till like November 15th area. When the water hits 50, we can't do any transplanting.
Yeah.
So we have till then. We can watch the water temps and that, but I'll look at the tides and see what's available.
Need to approve?
Yeah, so I guess we gotta approve, so we still have 400 from the last one, so we'd have to approve $2,100 for claims.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve $2,100 for claims to be transferred by November.
I second it.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved.
Aye.
Motion approved. We do have a decent amount of money in our account, like $34,000.
Wow, it's growing.
2,000 is gonna come right off of that, so it's 32,000.
Got it.
But still, we're up, so that means people bought permits, we have that money, we're pretty much obliged to put clams in the water, bring clams for them. So, that's what we'll do. Anything else on clam relay or planting?
Just please, give me some advance notice so I could schedule a time with the boat.
Yeah, I'll send you an email, a couple weeks before.
Okay, thank you.
Water and habitat quality, Cindy Whitman.
Okay, so for the month of August, the rain gauge at the Town Hall Weather Station registered approximately 6.86 inches of rain. The amount of days that shellfishing was closed for this calendar year is 88.
Tim, how much rain did we get on last Sunday?
I think it was like 2.5 inches.
Last Sunday, we got, 3.6,
3.5 or
I
something?
think. Yeah, about 3, a little over it, right. I don't remember the exact number, but it was in between, 3.5 and 4,
Wow.
just on Sunday.
Wow.
It was a lot.
Yeah. In a normal year, we usually close about 120 days, so.
I mean, just today I was watching the gauge, if anyone was around downtown at, I don't know, it was maybe 3 o'clock, 3:30, something like that. It was a big downpour.
Yeah.
We got, 0.23 inches in about 10 minutes. So it's a lot of water,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but stayed under an inch today. So I think before I left we were about, 2/3 of an inch. 0.69 when I left, at 4:30. So we're in the clear.
Good.
All right. So we're going to permits and access.
Okay.
Who wants to do this one?
Okay, permits. We have 196 resident, 141 senior, and 24 non-resident, for a total of 361. Last year, we got up to 413, so if we pump up the relays and tell them about the warm water, maybe we can hit the 400 mark.
Yep.
And we have $6,290 in permit revenues.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on permits and access? No? All right, we're gonna go to, Southport Beach reopening. So we got Sean, Cindy, and Bruce, and, whichever one you want us to take this, I guess there's some sampling.
You take most of the thing you've been driving with Tim and
Health
Sandy.
department stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we may bring it up under new business, the health department and the conservation departments, Tim and Sands have been working diligently on this. Do you want to talk to this, Tim?
Yeah, sure. Am I clear on this end?
You're clear.
Okay. I'm in the
Loud.
hockey rink, so it echoes. So I went out with Department of Health staff, and Sands had provided us with a list of previous sample locations done historically. So there were 5 locations in Southport Harbor area. I provided the map so you could see where those were. Out of the 5, we sampled 3. The other 2 were dry, but they're basically direct point source pollution locations where water's literally coming out of a pipe into the harbor. So I collected those. So those went to the lab that day. We got the results. I don't have them in front of me, but there were cases of various bacteria at elevated concentrations, and also comparatively to themselves, there were some standout locations. One just looked briefly location-wise in the area of Perry's Green, Yee Yacht Yard, and the Country Club. I spoke with the Country Club manager once we were there, so he knew they were fine with us coming onto property, and they're cooperative, so that won't be a problem in the future. But the plan was to do this round and then scout out some locations when we could get the boat at the right tide in the right time, because there's a lot of restrictions for the lab, certain days of the week, collection times with tides. The samples have to be at the lab at, before noon. So it's, a coordination effort as far as tides and times of the day, and days of the week. So for the next round, we'll probably repeat these locations and add some others.
Can I ask a question quick?
Sure.
On the sample that came back 1,400, was that sample taken at where the creek comes out next at the left-hand side of Perry's Green?
It is close to the grass area, approaching
Dock?
people at Yacht Club.
Yeah.
Yep. So I had to hop down over the wall and walk the length of Perry's Green towards the Yacht Club.
All right. I know that creek goes up by the pump
First
house up
Church.
there. There's a...
Yep. That one was dry.
Oh, it's dry, okay. All right, that's good.
Yep.
Tim, is there any consideration, and I don't know because there may not be any, of outfall, so to speak, further upstream? In other words, south of the tide mill and north of where you were. In other words, the rest of the harbor below the tide mill.
Yeah, that's where we want to go with the boat next. I think that'll be a key location to explore, because that's where it gets residential.
So another question quick is, once the sampling's all done and we know there's point source pollution or whatever, then what happens?
Step 2 is once we have some locations isolated, then we could pursue further investigation, and if there's any enforcement action or tracing, we can start to isolate, pursue further investigation through lab analysis, and kind of hone it down if we're getting finding high concentrations from a certain pipe close to a residence, then we could track down maybe the 2 adjacent properties, and if it's septic related, we could pursue that with health enforcement.
Does the health department feel that this is worth pursuing?
Yeah, Sands is on board.
All right.
There's no problems with the joint effort.
When I spoke to Sands a month or more ago, he was very forthcoming. He said, "I have funds to do this." He said up front, "I'm not an expert in this, but I know people who can advise us as to how to proceed." So he is working on a methodology that will be effective and using the funding and the tools. And Tim, I'll be glad to kayak up up the river if you need to get the samples, although you're usually doing that at lower tide, which anything in a boat is hard to do at low tide.
Yeah,
At the northern end.
yeah,
No water.
I have a department kayak too, so we might have to, if we can't coordinate a tide soon enough with the boat and the lab, that maybe we'll both go out.
You got the skip also.
Might be a good approach. But yeah, to Bruce's point, Sands is on board, and this is not, coming out of any department's operating budget. So the state, at the state level, it's a cost-effective, project on our end.
All right, sounds good.
Great. That's good to hear.
So it's not good, but it is good that
Yeah.
something was detected because that'll set the wheels.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's good because we've tested for forever in Southport. We know there's a problem.
Yeah.
We don't know where exactly it's coming from. And we could test until we're dead and still get negative results. So at what point do we say,
Right.
let's figure out where the problem is? We know there's a problem, let's figure out a solution. So I think and it's great, I think, that we've got conservation and health department on this, so.
All right. Anything else on Southport Beach? All right, then we'll go to commercial shellfish regulations.
No report.
No report. We don't have our commercial guys here asking for anything anymore.
No report.
He's having his shoulder redone.
Mm.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go over this at some point. Our big problem with all this is someone could come into this meeting every single meeting
Yep.
for 5 years, right? Or however long. How do we do anything with one person? So if we open up something to be
Mm-hmm.
harvested, it's gotta be open to everyone. It's either gonna be an RFP or something like that. I think that, the amount of product that's gonna be taken out, there's gonna be a value on that is great enough where it needs to be done in the correct way. So, at the moment, yeah, nothing with commercial until we
Yeah.
figure all that out.
Well,
There's also a kicker is, any, Southport Harbor is off limits to any shell fishing right now because we still have to we have to have some shellfish sampled for heavy metals in that and get the okay from, Alyssa. So when I stopped in to drop off the oysters, Alyssa was there and she told me, yeah, before anyone does anything, that all has to be sampled for heavy metals.
I can tell you, the Harbor Management Commission was going to do dredging right by the ramp at Yee Yacht Yard.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a permit, they got extended permits, and the extension ran out, and they got funding from the Port Authority and so on and so forth. But because of the material that's there, it must be capped. And DEEP has said to them, if you want to dredge, you have to start the permit process all over again. The testing for that area is $20,000.
For that. For this would be shellfish. She said it was about $500.
But these are heavy metals and things like this.
Yeah,
My
they're
point is
testing the
that-
shellfish for heavy
The actual
metals.
meat of the shellfish, yeah.
But there's a lot of not so good stuff there, is
Yeah.
the point.
Just-
And it turned out that it wasn't cost effective to spend all that money to dredge it anyway, because the yield, the benefit was so limited.
What's the process for testing the shellfish out there? Is it just, we'll collect it and bring it to them?
Probably collect it and bring it.
And they'll let us know, when do we decide when we want to do that, or do they give us?
We'd probably inform them, maybe those whenever.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd probably decide.
Do you have a timetable? Do you want to, for this, the end of this year, next year?
So we got our oysters to deal with and everything like that. When does it slow down? December? We should probably talk about and all that if we're gonna actually let anyone do anything anywhere.
I mean,
I
commercial
know
wise?
that there's, Dave Perry would like us to get some smaller companies to be able to do some work. So we have to figure out how to be able to do that in a way that doesn't disrupt what redo
Mhm.
the areas that it's gonna be in and all that. So,
Does he have like a list of like, it'd be nice if there was a concise list of like, Yeah.
Cause he says it, and I'm like,
who?
who talking?
Yeah, give us,
H and H,
yeah,
you know, this guy,
it would be helpful to have that list.
cause all we need is the Yarmish, and, you know,
Yeah.
sorry, but, you know.
Well, but I mean,
it
there might-
cause a big problem in our meeting.
Yeah, a lot of guys, but do all of them wanna do this kind of work?
Mhm.
Like, there should be a list of people that wanna do work with Shellfish Commission.
Yeah,
So maybe we can see if we can work on that with him. But you're right, like, where are we gonna, Ash Creek's off limits for the next 2 years, right?
I'd say almost forever.
Forever, like,
Ash Creek Conservation is gonna petition the state to not let anything, if we put a boat in there.
yeah, that's
I
fine.
mean, the only thing really that I think Ash Creek could be used for it is, like you said, a nursery where
Mhm.
if we take out any oysters, we're putting shell in, and those oysters are going somewhere else to help some other
Yeah,
area
restore
grow.
another area,
Yeah.
yeah. That's more like restoration work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think, well, Ash Creek stays off limits forever.
So then, what's left?
No river.
Mill River?
So, yeah, and the open water,
Yeah.
yeah, there's
You know,
nothing
in front
else.
of Penfield and Jennings?
I mean, the only other thing would be near the mouth of Mill River, like, well, you know, to be able to take out some of that oyster and reshell it or something.
Whatever happened with the area where they're gonna put the sand from dredging Southport Harbor? But that, you're talking about something different, that's just the ramp, the dredging in front of the
We're
ramp.
talking- we're talking about the bottom of the ramp.
Yeah,
so
but
there's
the
two more
the harbor's gotta
things
be
No,
there.
the other, the country club bump, so to speak,
Yeah.
the money is there, it's granted.
Yeah.
The Army Corps of Engineer
So,
is
everyone
basically
needs to know
said,
that the boat that does this work, the Currituck,
So,
is not in the water. It is in dry dock, being, with the millions of dollars of work going on.
okay, so,
So until that thing gets into the water again, who knows where we are on the list? But,
got it. But that potential area where they're gonna dump the sand is one area that we could have somebody come in and
yes,
check, and so,
yeah,
that's really the only thing we have to offer.
that's about what we got to offer,
Okay.
is that spot.
Okay.
And I've offered it up, and,
Nobody
you know,
wants it.
mention it to people, no one wants it, because they want the easy oysters in Ash Creek, or the easy oysters in Mill River, you know, and there's no real
Ash Creek's
benefit.
our nursery, you don't go there.
Yeah,
There's no
exactly.
benefit I see to the town or the Shellfish Commission. The town has no benefit at all, really. They get $50 for, that's how much the permit is for
Yeah.
commercial shellfishing. And I think that goes to us anyway. And then, the catch, you know, it's just, what we would get is hundreds to a few $1,000s for a huge amount of what we have.
It would only be to support
It
commercial
doesn't,
guys.
it's just be to support commercial guys, and I think the restoration work we do in that kind of supports them in a way that, you know,
It's putting, yeah.
Well, I don't see how allowing any commercial fishing in Ash Creek is consistent with with our
Right.
restoration plan.
No.
It's
Not,
the total opposite, you can't
Yeah.
do it.
No, I mean, the only thing is if whatever feedback we get out of the study, the NOAA study, that says, you know, it's a good idea to clear some of this out and then reshell it, and in that case, we could possibly,
that those oysters be brought out to that 55-acre spot
Yeah.
and dumped there, and maybe, because that's my second meeting on this commission. Dave Carey sat here with all these charts and everything about commercial, or, historic oyster grounds. And from the point over in Westport, coming over towards Southport Beach and out to about the channel is a historic oyster ground. But right now it's covered in slipper shell and buck nuggets and lipids and all that stuff. So the whole plan with this dredged material is to sort of first have someone go in there and see if there's any actual, something worth
claims.
catching, clear it out, and then dump all this sand and muck and rock and all that, and fill in the gaps, and then that could become where shell starts being deposited and adult oysters to see if we can get that bed growing again. The bed starts growing again, we still have the dilemma of, it's hard to, you know, we can't lease it to a company or lease it to two companies because it's natural bed. So it's one of these things where we'd issue a permit and they'd be able to harvest a certain amount of bushel a day. And no one would do it, because it's just not enough. So, we'll talk about it, but, anything else?
Nope.
All right, we're gonna go to oyster bed development. Tim?
What's going on? I guess this is more the SPAC collectors. Todd and I went down to Ash Creek yesterday just to check, at the shell that we planted, back in June, July. And it's all catching spat. It's a very productive area in there. Checked on our spat collectors, they're also collecting spat. I was looking at tide schedules to see when we would potentially pull those out, and there's a low tide at like 11 o'clock in October. October 20th, I think it is.
No,
No? No good for you?
I'm gonna be at the Trinity site in New Mexico.
Oh, okay. So then do we wanna try to set a date for that right now, or you wanna, because next month is,
Before that, too early?
no. I mean, they're pretty still, I mean, you saw that picture of them.
Yeah.
They're smallest they've ever been, I would say.
Right. You wanna do it after that?
November?
First week in November?
Yeah, let me see what the tide is there. Like November 4th. Let me see here. It'll take me a second to look that up.
So while you look that up, the teacher from aquaculture school contacted me and wants to know if we want to winter these oysters and possibly grow some of them in their cages. Their cages are located near Sunken Island off of Fairfield. There'd be a little bit of permitting involved. They would handle that. They would do all the work, like cleaning up. The students would go out and clean them and all that. So it doesn't sound like a bad idea.
It sounds wonderful, especially if we get them involved with the spat collecting. In other words, it's sort of this part of the process.
Yeah.
What oysters though? Are the ones?
Off the spackle.
Off the spackle, the small ones. Got it. Okay. Instead of putting them in bags off the dock. Gotcha. Great.
So we could still do half in the bags on the dock for the
For the
upwellers.
Gotcha, and then
And
give
then we
them.
put those in there, and if we want them back for the upwellers, we can take them. We could probably put in there, we could probably leave in their cages 100 oysters per bag
Mm-hmm.
and let them grow out to be full size. Because that's a 2-week relay over there. So if we kept them in there, we could grow them to 3 inches and actually put them on Sasco to be harvested 2 weeks later.
Wow.
I
I like that idea.
So we'd be able to actually eat our oysters that we freaking grew from babies.
I don't know, my phone is on the fritz here.
Bruce will be following behind the yellow shucks with his pick. I got my 24.
Let's see here. All right, so November, we're talking.
Go out
We
there
did,
every day.
So, well, I still look, Tim collected 35 oysters, for a disease sample off of Sasco. And how long does that take to get to 35?
Not that long.
Really?
There's a ton. They're all in, I went on the east
On the
side.
breakwater?
Yeah, over there, which I thought I'd find a bunch, but they're all in the actual jetty that shoots out there. Like if you look at the
right.
rocks, there's tons in there.
On the jetty going towards the yacht club,
Yeah.
on either side of it.
Yeah, either side, they're growing on it, but if you look in between the rocks, there's just bunches of oysters.
I know, I've come back with bloody hands after.
Yeah,
So
there's a ton there.
on that, we collected 35 oysters. They go to the Milford lab. They're gonna check them, test them for disease such as MSX, SSO, Dermo, and they'll tell us the health of our oysters at Sasco. On that note, talking about the jetty, we did plant all the oysters out of the downwellers. We put probably 10,000 in the jetty, 5,000
Mm-hmm.
in the jetty, and then we put the rest of them in Sasco Creek, which we estimate are 50 to 60,000. So we'll see what happens. But we can monitor these pretty easy because they're right there in the creek.
Yeah.
They're gonna move a little bit, but
How about over at Kinsey Point, because I've gotten oysters over there.
there's oysters there, but we're not making that walk anymore. We did it one year.
That's a long way.
Never
It is,
again.
yeah. We used to drag them out there, but no, I like the
Remember we did
Southport.
that morning, it
Yeah.
was about 20 degrees?
Yeah, it was not fun. It was windy.
Our helper didn't show up.
Sasko Creek.
And your boots are leaking.
Sasko Creek has some oysters in it.
Yeah, we were thinking too, we could shell that up and maybe it would help the actual water quality tests if there's a lot of oysters in there. So we figure maybe we could.
Could they filter it?
What's that?
Could they filter?
Yeah. Ash Creek is doing so well that it's like maybe we should start focusing on some other
Yeah,
areas.
there is the other side, so the other side of Fairfield Avenue, Post Road or whatever it is, it used to be just a big mud flat. There's a strip of oysters growing there now. So that might be another spot where we could throw a little bit of shell.
In Ash Creek.
Yeah, starting to go the other way, towards BJ's now.
When you park your car at One Post Road or whatever it is, that office building there,
Mhm.
don't ever park close to the water, because if you look in the parking lot, it's littered in
I
shells.
thought you were gonna say, it's so beautiful looking at all those oysters out there on the flat.
No, because there are a lot of oysters, but they're dropping them down there. You don't want to be in the drop zone with your
No.
car.
Oh, just, they're dropping the oysters?
Yeah.
I thought they were dropping some white stuff.
No, these are oysters, there's shell all over the parking lot.
All right, let's get moving.
So, this is weird.
Oh,
It says
Tim has-
low tide for November 4th is 10:59 a.m., but then it says Sunday, it's 10:56 a.m.
that time change?
November,
No?
oh, yeah, maybe that's, well, no, I thought Tom, they did it
It'd be
in
an hour
October.
later.
It's usually in October, is it? Or maybe, is it?
Bring ahead, fall back.
Yeah, fall, when do we set the clocks back? Must be that Saturday night then.
Yeah.
All right, so then Saturday, November 4th, 10:59 is low tide. You want to just plan for that?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So we'll remove the hats on Saturday, November 4th. Start around, set up around 9:30, start pulling hats around like 10 a.m., 10:30? Okay. All right.
When's the low again? 11?
Or 10:59.
10? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. If the weather's terrible, we could always push it back to Sunday, because then it's 10:56. It's 4 minutes early.
So we usually buy water, gloves, donuts, coffee.
Yeah.
So we approve $150 for supplies for the day.
Yeah. Musical entertainment?
All
I
right.
was about to wait and say that.
Yeah.
What do we think?
It's a good time to get
We're
band.
trying to encourage families to come out.
Yeah.
I think it makes it more like a party.
So actually have a band,
Yeah.
Like
like the Steel Drummers?
doesn't have to be them, but
2 or 3.
if we're trying to make this a thing where people pop in for an hour and they help a little bit, then they go on with their day, we gotta make it a little bit more,
Entertaining.
What about like someone like that plays the acoustic guitar and sings a little bit?
who's that?
I don't know.
Yep, I like that.
Do you know anyone?
We can find it.
I know you're out and about.
There was a great band, it was at Paddle Fest on Saturday. They were a 4-piece band, but they were really good. I did not get the name, but I can get the name.
We're usually there for what, 5 hours, right?
5 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
I would even think maybe we could see if we can get like a food truck to pull up and,
Yep.
Ooh,
you know,
CJ's
because it's
jerk.
right around lunchtime.
CJ's jerk.
I mean, do we want to set aside some money?
Mr.
to,
Yoke?
All right, so,
yeah, make this more of a, event?
yeah.
Just, then make it.
We really only have, these are our 2 events, is this and then the one in the
Yeah.
summer.
We could advertise this, and people can just come out and see what we're doing.
Yeah.
If they wanna help, they help.
Yeah.
We probably only need about 10 people, so
Yeah.
if 50 people show up.
No, but we
Well,
could
but
set up our
people don't do
informational
this.
tent.
They do that for half an hour, and they're,
Yeah.
like, that's enough.
Yeah, but if there's a band there,
I
people
see
can
those
hang out.
people sitting there breaking them things off for hours.
They do, but
Very-
I think once they sit down, I think they're a little hesitant to get back up.
Yeah.
They lock into the baton death march.
Yeah.
They don't want to go till it gets done.
Right.
And I think if it was understood that the norm is you come in for an hour,
Yeah.
and then you're out, and then other people come in.
Yeah. Or you just give one person one spat collector and say,
So
here, you
people
do
might be
this,
just interested in
When
coming,
you're done.
listen to music,
Yeah.
have something to eat,
Yeah.
and see what's going on.
It's more of a social
Yeah,
event.
and I think too, when you've got the cleaner, whatever it is,
Oh, they like, yeah, we gotta watch out for the kids, but they love it. Somebody
well,
almost
they
got their-
love, I mean,
But
you know, we've got pictures of these
Yeah.
kids, and they're thrilled to, and they're all gathered around it, and they're talking to one another.
Yeah, and they
Right.
love
One thing real
all the
quick.
crabs.
Tim
So
Bishop,
have the kids collect the crabs that get stuck
Yep.
in there.
if we had a food truck come in there, would they need to get a permit, do you think?
For a food truck?
Yeah, would they get an exception? They have a permit.
I'd be a question for Sands, I could ask him.
All right.
Probably, because even when we get them at town hall, they
Is the permit just for
still
testing
kind of have a
or
permit.
all uses?
All right. So if we're gonna do this, and if food truck's not cheap, we need to make it a real event. We need to get people there.
Well, I got somebody reached out to me to the Cub Scouts that wants to show up.
All right.
So
Are you
the
implying
parents,
we're paying for everybody's food? I don't know if we need to.
I don't know.
Oh, we're not paying for food.
I think just have food trucks there and let people spend a couple bucks.
boy, provide beverages.
Then we have to.
How are we gonna get the food truck there?
Say again?
How are we gonna get them there?
Well, I mean, the real question is, are they using the food truck that day somewhere else that's doing big business? And if not, we'll talk to them about
All right,
marketing
so-
and how many people we think we can get, and if they wanna give it a shot. But
What
we're not
how much
locked
time
in
do we
for
have?
estimating a
All right,
large
so
amount
who
of
wants
food.
to look into
Yeah.
the food truck part of it?
Okay,
All right. See if they'll show up without getting
agreed.
a chunk.
Well, you know, I guess it's not a regular food truck, but the Taco Loco.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the,
No, that's a real deal. So when Taco Loco closes, it's just the food trucks now.
oh, is it really?
Yeah, because it's a totally different restaurant.
Yeah, but that's all catering. In other words, they don't drive around. I mean, I went down to Sasko Beach a couple of times to go kayaking,
Yeah.
and the place was, on a Friday evening or Saturday evening, was filled to the gills with people, and the pizza truck was there.
Oh,
And there was no place to park.
yeah, wow.
So there is the other, we could get Rachel down there.
Oh, shucking, I mean, I can ask
I
her.
could ask her, yeah.
Yeah,
See if
I mean,
she-
it's November,
would be
I
interested.
can't imagine there's not much going on November at noon.
Right.
There's not, might be a little bit of a lull spot.
All right, so we'll look into this. We're not gonna have a meeting. Are we gonna have a meeting before? No.
Oh, yeah, we'll have October.
We'll
Yeah,
have
our
October,
October
yeah.
meeting. All right, so look into it. We'll.
I can send some stuff around, let you
Throw
know
something in
before-
What's that, Lizette?
I think that our best bet, if we're gonna try and get a truck, is to get a truck like the Proof Pizza Truck, one, not from a restaurant, because a restaurant, I know sometimes, like, they have a minimum right out the door for them to come out to you, of like
Right.
$1,000. But someplace like the Proof Pizza Truck, or on Park Ave, on Saturdays,
Oh, yeah.
the place is lined with different trucks. And, you know, maybe even if it's the morning, maybe we could get
So he does Sasko already.
Oh,
I could ask
like the
Brian.
donut truck to come, but they may have to get permits, so we may have to,
Dave Truck?
if we're gonna do
Yeah,
that.
Jim is gonna check, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta look into it.
I can ask, well, I'll at least ask Mike Andre that owns
Right.
Kayak and see if they have that truck that they
Yeah.
bring to the
All
event.
right.
So,
Sounds good.
And the permit may not be that big a deal. And we might underwrite the price.
yeah.
So we're all still on oyster bed development.
Wow.
So we got
Turn into a big-
November 4th, 9:30 setup, 10:30 pull the SPAC collectors, and after that, have just loads of fun.
Yep.
All right.
You're cool if like Cub Scouts and stuff come? I mean, they're all
Yeah.
gonna have their parents with them, so,
Their parents are with them.
okay.
And we could, same thing too with the Boy Scouts. We could talk to the troop that's over at, First Church. They're a really active troop. I don't.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the meeting. All right? We're gonna go to communications.
We got weekly posts out on Facebook and Instagram since the last meeting. There was one on each, linking to, permit pages. Got some nice pickup on you guys dropping the, restocking the beds. So I think it was a standard month. Did the new website launch? Do we know?
Not yet.
I don't know,
So,
real quick about Facebook.
Did-
You guys all know that I'm not Tom Baines or John Shorts. My account got stolen. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And the Shellfish page is on there, so whoever's an admin, please get Tom Baines or John Shorts or whoever off of there, because he's been messaging people about Shellfish and messaging people about everything. And I'm like, please just report it. I can't do anything. I emailed Facebook.
Can we have
They
him
must
removed?
have a 10-year, wait on their, it's horrendous. So I am no longer on Facebook or that because my account was stolen. So if you guys get messages from something that looks like my account, just delete them.
Got it. See if I can figure out how to remove them.
And everyone saw the article in the paper, about Noah's study in Nash Creek?
Yep.
It was a good article. All right, anything else on communications?
So, that's it.
Downwellers, so they're.
Upwellers.
Upwellers.
Now upwellers.
They're shut down, basically cleaned out. Did you pull the hose or no?
Yeah, we
right.
yesterday pulled the hose, pulled the pump's in the trailer, the hose is in one of the down upwellers. We just need to I might go back and just clean up the crates and all that kind of stuff back
I think
there.
we should, those black crates, maybe move them down to conservation.
Yeah, and I
or
was
keep
gonna
them.
just put the green ones in back in the bins.
I don't know if we'll ever use those again.
Probably not. I mean, they're kinda handy for when we actually transport them, but we can move them.
Kinda, they have the holes in the bottom. Anything else on the upwellers? We'll just strap them, you strap the tops
Yeah,
down?
I was gonna wait to put the green crates in them, and then I'll strap them up.
Yep. All right, let me,
I'll do it
I
next week.
dropped the ball on that. I thought you said you were gonna do it.
No, and then
thought
you were
I said I
like,
was
what are
gonna
you,
do it.
crazy? You're driving your
Yeah,
son
I
down
said,
to
"What are you,
Atlanta. So I
crazy?"
said, okay, I won't do it.
Well, I missed that part. It's like,
I
all
didn't wanna
right.
do it. No,
he
you're
wants
like-
to do that to himself.
No.
So I didn't do anything. Well, I probably
That's
worked
all right.
all
Well, you can
weekend.
come down, meet
I'm
you next
assuming
week.
I worked all weekend,
Yeah.
you know. All right. That's it. Reports from the Conservation Department. So Shellfish Fund balance is $34,106.12 as of August 31st. As I said, that'll go down a little bit after the last clam purchase. Shellfish permits, like I said, 361 as of August 31st, 2023. The closure period was reported by Cindy, and we're not gonna talk about the budget status, I don't think,
Yeah.
unless you got anything, Tim, Bishop. All right,
No, I think you got it covered.
all right. Any old business we wanna discuss? No. Any new business?
I have something.
Tim,
Campbell, Tressick, who's just done a lot of volunteering for us, is is an Eagle Scout, said that they need some hours to fulfill and they wanted a project to do. So we said maybe come clean up the downwellers. He came by himself, but they were looking for more of a project. So one of the things I recommended was building a bucket washer to clean our buckets from the restaurants, which he seemed interested in. But I said we would discuss it at this meeting to see if there's any other project that we want him to do. They were gonna do that beach cleanup station, and that got kind of sidetracked. So I know that's not probably gonna happen, but if anybody else has any other ideas for
I think
them.
the bucket washer is a great idea, because there's a lot of thought that has to go into how to do it, and then putting it together to make it actually work.
Yeah.
The only other thing I can think of would be to maybe do something around the downwellers, like with signage, or
Yeah.
maybe a little fence or something like that, but,
I think
you know, that's more of the town's kind of
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Tom was talking about putting the sign down there,
Yeah.
so, and there's gotta be,
I think that's a good project to work with you to design it.
Yeah.
And then, do we need to allocate funds to,
I would think so. So he was looking to do it in October, so I don't know if we wanna make a motion to allocate.
what, a couple
How
hundred?
does that, so this is for Eagle Scout,
Yeah,
and that's how it usually works?
yeah.
I don't know, do you think it's,
I mean, I sent him an example of one that was made out of stainless steel. It's like the florists use it to clean their buckets. But I said we should use like a plastic 50-gallon drum, which the town has, which you can provide. So it'll have to be some kind of wooden frame for it. And then it would be like a motor to spin a brush, buy a small motor.
$500?
$500, to see if they can do it for $500.
All right, why don't we someone make a motion to put up $500 towards the Eagle Scout project, and then if it runs over, we'll add to that funding, but I don't think it will.
I wanna make a motion to underwrite the Eagle Scout project for the amount of $500.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. That's a good cause. The bucket washer is key to everything.
It saves a lot of time. It's easier on the back.
Any other new business?
Yeah, there was a Nature Conservancy grant, a SOAR, Shellfish Growers Resiliency Fund grant that we discussed briefly previously. I had a discussion with Terry Brown who was the,
Is this the $20,000 grant or the?
right.
20.
Terry is the grant writer for the town, and after going to the webinar for this and reviewing the application and what they're looking for, with us looking at an outboard motor or something like that, or a boat, it really doesn't fit with their objectives very well.
What are their objectives?
A lot of it is joint effort, for instance, if you wanted to buy an ice machine, you could buy an ice machine if it was going to be shared by several growers.
Yeah.
I get it.
That kind of thing.
It needs to benefit multiple.
All right, so that one's not for us then.
No, but in my discussion with Terry, she said, I talked about the clam clinic and things like this. She said, this is good. Now I understand what you guys do and sort of what your mission is, and I will be
Face this way. Face this way so you get recorded.
and I will be aware of what you do, and if grants come across my desk that are applicable, I will let you know.
Oh, good.
So, and she lived in Black Rock for a long, long time.
Oh, nice.
And is very familiar with Bridgeport and now lives in Southport Woods.
So did you see another email came right after that one with a different grant?
The NOAA grant?
The NOAA grant, and it's for many millions of dollars that's going to be given out around the country?
That webinar was today. I attended that.
How was that?
It's a very involved grant. It's a lot. I mean, it's like a minimum of $1 million.
So that's not.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's more. It might be good to partner up with some other entity.
Yeah.
Someone like I don't know. I think the Bureau of Aquaculture might be eligible, but it's a massive undertaking.
We don't have the manpower.
It's a 75% page application and the monitoring and all. There's a lot of.
We'll follow. You keep in touch with Terry, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Take a little small.
But she was very, very helpful.
Okay.
She's
I
really
should
good.
go tell her. Never met her.
I found a really nice boat. It's actually.
Hey, I mean,
It's a flat barge.
Yeah.
With a dump on it. So you can load it up with shell or clams, go out and just go in reverse and slowly raise that.
Sounds like a floating dump.
And everything
Yeah.
just drops off.
What was it made for? Floating dump trailer.
They're made in Louisiana, so
All
I'm
aluminum?
assuming it's made for filling with oysters and dumping them.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know, something like that, or
Some good old
materials.
boys.
Yeah.
I mean, the video is a picture of a guy driving the barge and dumping all his yard waste in it's just a lagoon. But, I think that was just for the picture. They probably pulled that right back out. Informational, I think I spotted Sean driving around, Bronson Road the other day,
In what?
in the Bronco.
Sure, could've been.
Someone was waving at me out of a gray Bronco.
Gray? Yours is green.
Yours?
Mine's gray.
Gray?
Gray,
Yeah.
yeah, it must have been you.
Where were you?
I was coming off the post road, going by, Blackstone's, coming up to the hill right there, and you were going like that.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my information. Tonight, anything else?
Yeah, Tessa sent us a notice about an event down in Greenwich, which is partly sponsored by the Greenwich Shellfish Commission. It's coming up on September 20th, that's a week from tonight.
Today, yeah, in Greenwich.
And it's down at the Enos Arden Cottage at Greenwich Point, and they're going to have panelists will share ways of consuming overlooked and invasive species of fish and shellfish that are essential to preserving a healthy ecosystem. And
What is the ticket for that run?
$35.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they're going to be,
Are you going, Bruce?
I think I'm gonna go.
I meant to mention under new business, we jump back for 1 sec.
Mm-hmm.
So, When we had the clam clinic, we had the pieces of paper with the QR codes on them for shellfish, permit sales.
Yeah.
What about getting some of those permanently down at Sasko, so that people, when they're there and they're at the beach and they're in the mode and they don't have it, and it's metal, whatever it is, bam.
There's that, display over there.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Display where?
You know where that little, what is that little, where the shower is there? There's that little shack in the shower there.
We
There's
have
that big display board right there.
Well, we've got, you mean where we have the opener closed?
No, that's at the, guard shack.
Right.
It's, right where there's, I don't know what, it's just like
Right
a
when you
storage
come down the
shed.
hill, it's right on the left,
Yeah,
right
there's
before
the shower over there.
Okay.
But there's, basically a.
So that means if you could actually hit that, it takes you to the site and buy a permit while you're on the beach.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah.
Correct.
Just
do that.
laminate them and
But
throw
to
them in there.
to that point, I think a lot of people whom I've talked to when I'm oystering or down at the beach have no clue what we have done down there. And if there was just I don't know how we could do it concisely, but if it simply said, these are certified shellfish beds here that are tested by the state and safe and monitored on a weekly basis or whatever, and you can get a permit.
So we could do a code for that too.
Yeah,
So
but the idea would be, because if people don't even know that it's there, and a lot of people, obviously for the clam clinic learn, but other people are clueless.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them get really excited.
Well, we used to do pop-up clinics, but we could just go down there with our tent and just set up a little informational thing and talk to people. Usually when the tent's set up, they'll come up and talk to you, and you can literally, talk to them.
Yeah, I was just thinking that would be even better, but if we just had some signage down there that said, did you know, and it was, the size of this pizza box or something, and people could learn about it, and the QR code would be on the bottom. Sometimes when you see a QR code, that's sort of a magnet for people anyway to go, what the heck's that for?
And the QR code is gonna do the same thing, take us to the,
Well, hopefully we'll revamp our website too, and there could be some more information.
all right.
Or it could be, along that same line, could be, did you know that, these are tested shellfish beds open to the public? Click this QR code and learn more, and then that tells them the story.
Why don't you write something up for the next meeting?
Okay.
And then you know how to do the QR code, I'm sure everyone knows how to do it.
Yep.
I can see, that kiosk thing there, I think it has a little bit of stuff about shellfish in there, but I don't think it's been updated.
Probably a little faded by now.
Yeah, everything's faded. It could use a little love, I think.
Well,
So
to
figure it out.
get the QRs printed onto something, some print shops got to figure that out, but we should be able to work it out.
Almost like an aluminum sign would be great.
Yeah. Well, what I mean, could you just print it on paper and then laminate it?
Start mentioning the fact that,
Actually, just
we
laminate.
stock
Yeah,
it with
just put it behind the thing.
60,000 clams annually
Yeah,
or something.
sure.
People
Just
go,
paper, lamination.
We can bring them in here,
Behind
laminate
glass.
them,
And they'll be behind glass, or it's plexiglass behind that thing.
Will that still pull it out?
It should, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
you'll give it a shot.
Yep.
Tim, Bishop,
I have
All right.
3 quick information pieces.
hey, you gonna do ACCA? Ash Tree
That was
Conservation?
one of them, yes.
Okay, go
Yep,
ahead.
so I sent around an email this morning from Gail Robinson at Ash Tree Conservation Association with summarizing their efforts in collaboration with the city of Bridgeport, Parks and Rec, and police about enforcing illegal diggers and thieves on coming from that side, which I had met with them, as you know, with DEP. So they have at least some success to report in that email blast, which I think was positive, that they're making progress with physical barriers like a fence and signage. So because the violators are coming from the Bridgeport side and not the Fairfield side, I'm anxious to see how effective that will be. Second point, yeah, they look pretty legit, so we'll see. Second point is Fairfield IT's launch of the new website for September 1st failed. They have not given me a date, but they also shut down, or mostly shut down, the old website as far as posting new information. So from my standpoint, I've been stalled on both ends. And I don't have a date of actual launch for the new one.
Okay.
And I think that's it.
Got it. If there's like information that we want to put up there, is that something that after it's up and running, is that a complicated process?
No, because I'm the department's webmaster, so anything that you could forward to me, it's gonna to work the kinks out a little bit as far as layout, and it's gonna get reconfigured. It is really nice. I've seen the soft launch, but it's gonna take some tweaking on placement of certain links and things like that. So but once it's rolling. Stuff that you guys have, and all the other fingers under the department, I'll welcome and be able to post anything pretty easily.
Great.
All right. One last thing on informational, and I'm really the biggest culprit of this, is if you need conservation staff or Tom Course to do anything, or we need to use the boat or whatever, just send an email to Tim Bishop first. I think I'm the one who doesn't send emails, and I put everyone in a...
Okay, we'll remind you.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, on that note, he said that to coordinate when we're closed to make sure that he's able to get the sign turned before we post anything on Facebook. I don't know if we want to start a text chain. I don't know how we want to make sure that happens.
Yeah, so normally the state sends out the email, and then town hall sends out our email, and then you see the one from the state or the one from the town.
Yep.
Which one, state or town? Town, right?
I see
State.
and then I see you.
All right. Yeah. So the thing is like, whoever's doing the emails, it doesn't always come in at the same time. It's not like at 8 a.m, after a rainfall, we get the email. It could come in at 8, it could come in, at 10:13 in the morning like it did this time, or 9:13. So yeah, I guess we could just wait till the sign and the email go out, if it makes sense. It really, there was a small overlap of time, and it didn't mean anything because the beds had gotten closed or something like that.
But yes.
And the email didn't go out yet that the beds were closed, but, the sign was closed or something.
The sign still said
Actually, it was
open,
closed
but
when we opened, right?
Yeah, or something, I can't remember what
So
it was, but Tom just wanted to make sure that we're...
Yeah, it's, we've been doing this for a while, and I think we can handle it.
Yeah, just expressing it.
And actually, to that point, until I emailed Tessa and Alyssa on Monday morning, they apologized that that we were left off the closure chain from Sunday's 3.5 inches. So that's why that went out.
I checked. I saw that we were over an inch, and I was
We didn't get over an inch, I'm thinking to myself.
Yeah, I know. I checked. I was like, why didn't we get the email yet? I guess that's why.
Yeah, and so they apologized. They're like, oh, sorry, we left Fairfield off the chain. We'll send it now. I said, well, thanks. I figured because we're almost at 4 inches, so they did apologize for that was their fault. As of recently, I think I said at the last meeting, Tom Course is now on that email thread from them, so he's aware. If it's over the week, we'll get the sign down Monday morning. And also to that effect, speaking with them Monday afternoon, I asked about updating the MOU for kind of all these procedural things. They're willing to do that. It said it's a long process, but the last one was only updated in 2016. That still has the old weather underground thing. It still has I think now it's more of a collaborative effort. Hey, we're closed, here's the weather, here's the rain, or even though they can monitor our station.
Is there any chance
Sorry?
that we're able to change like the phone message over the weekend?
Yeah, that stuff too.
Would that be in that new MOU and?
Yeah, it could be. I could circulate that tomorrow so everyone could read what the existing one is, and if there's changes, we could bring that to them. But it's just dated, and there's a lot of things that have changed procedurally. I think to be addressed.
If you're clamming after getting 3.5 inches of rain the day before, you either just don't know, you never read anything about what we do or never paid attention, or you're a poacher, and
Karma.
Good luck.
We normally get at least 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 4 ways we inform people are active. And the sign always is one of the first things to get closed once we get the state email.
Who does the sign?
Because we're able to do that.
Tom does?
So Tom does that, I have a key, you have a key.
Is it the same key for the trailer?
key.
Is it really? I didn't know that. Okay.
No, not for the trailer, the other key.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, so, there's a few keys around, the sign gets changed, If the sign says closed on it and you go clamming, you're kind of breaking the law really, or
And you're stupid.
you're oblivious to what goes on. All right, that's it on informational, any other?
Yeah, the draft of the Plan of Conservation and Development was released recently, and there were comments that it needs more work. We have more time to do it. But interestingly, despite the fact that probably one of the biggest assets for the town is its shoreline, and maintaining its resiliency, and the people who are involved in it, like ourselves, should be mentioned, and they're not. So it's not a complaint, it's just a suggestion that and harbor management, and they've got a lot of projects going on with a lot of money, and the Army Corps, and, what we're doing with NOAA and everybody else and over in Ash Creek, what you guys have been doing for 8 years, is significant. And so that should be incorporated into here.
So what is that you're talking about?
The Plan of Conservation and Development, POCD,
Okay.
and has
So
to be
is this a plan
updated
that-
every 10 years, and the 10th year comes up in a couple of years.
That would be something Tim Bishop would be,
Oh, Tim was very much involved, I'm sure. It's
All
a
right.
70-plus page document.
there's no public here. Who wants to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Thanks for the pizza. That's a nice treat.
Good night,
Get that
Sam,
from?
good night, Lizette.
I just got back
Good night.
from Maine.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Here.